In the previous video, I've explained to you about relationship between tables and its types. Now, we are talking about how to create a relationship between tables using migration in Laravel. So, I'll create two tables. First table is employment contract, and the second table is employees. And for the employees table, there is three columns. The first one is ID as a primary key and name and also timestamps. And for the employment contract table, there is three columns. First one is ID as primary key and employee ID as foreign key. And the third column is description as a description of employment contract. And we need to add another one. There is timestamps. So let's do this. As usual, open VS Code and open the previous project I've been using for this you. And next, open this file and we need to copy this code, some code, and we'll modify some of them. If you don't understand where this file and projects comes from and what this code does, you better go back to previous tutorial about using migration in Laravel. So to make a new migration table, you can simply copy this file or you can use a migration command. So in this case, I'll use migration command. Let's do this. We need to go to directory file. Let's type cd and this is where my project located at. Let's drag it here and let's type php artisan make migration employees. Now the new migration file is already created, and next step is you can simply copy these lines of code and paste it here, and also let's copy this line of code and paste it here, And let's do some modification. Let's do some modification. Because we need to create employees table, so we need to remove or rename the students to employees. And what I've told you before, we need these 3 columns. For the employees table, we need an ID. So this ID is already here. Also name, and the last one is timestamps. So let's remove this 2 column because we don't need this. Let's remove this. And that's it. Also, we need to create new employees, new employment contract or new tables for employment contract table. So let's do this again. And now employment contract is now successfully created. Let's open this up. Let's copy this lines of code as usual. So copy this and paste it here. For the employment contract, the name of table is employment contract table. Need to copy this one and paste it here. Also here. And we need ID as primary key, description, and timestamps. And we need an ID as primary key, and the ID is already here. Also, we need an employee ID as foreign key. How could we create foreign key in Laravel? I'll show you. As usual, table and integer. For the integer name is employee ID and unsigned and index. So this line of code will create a foreign key in Laravel. So you might be wondering, what does unsigned and index means? Well, technically I really don't understand what does unsigned and index means. But Here it is. If we need to create a foreign key, this line can be the solution. And the next column is description. To create table and we need to use long text type for the description. Long type the description. And the last one is timestamps. It's already here. Next, we need to connect employees table to employment contract table. How could we do this? Let's type table foreign. For the foreign key is employee ID, so let's fill this with employee ID. And this employee ID is refer to this ID. So let's type ID on what table is it? On employees table. And that's it. And after everything is ready, we need to migrate all these two files. There's two files, one by one. So let's open it up. Let's type PHP artisan migrate path database migrations, and let's copy this first. Rename, copy, PHP. But before we hit enter, we need to activate this SAMP first. Let's activate it. And after that, let's hit enter. Now the table is migrated, already migrated. So let's check it out. Let's wait a sec. Let's open this database, and yes, the employees table now is created. So there is three columns. First one is name, his name. Also before the name there is an ID as a primary key, and for there's two columns are coming from this line. Next, we need to migrate this table. Let's rename it and copy the name of table and paste it here, and let's hit enter. And let's read this error carefully. Oh, there is typo here. It should be employees like this. That's why this error happened. So let's migrate again. But before we migrate new tables, we need to remove an old tables. So let's remove it first. Also, we need to remove it first. And also we need to rename to another name to make it work. So we need to add 00 here. Also in employment contract table, we need to add 00 here in order to remigrate working successfully. And let's do this again. Let's rename, copy, and paste it here. After that, let's rename or need to copy here, and now the table is created successfully. As you can see here, the ID column is coming from here, and the name is coming from here, and the created at and also updated at column is coming from here, as well as employment contract table. Let's see to this table. So this column employee ID is coming from here, and as you can see, this column is connected to employees table, which means this foreign key has been built using these lines, and now the relationship between employees and employment contract has been built successfully, and that's it.